I'm Gary, and this is Coasting with Culture, which is all about combining theme park visits and riding roller coasters with various cultural experiences around the world. It's time once again to catch up with the Buzz Bars as the crew heads down to the place where all this madness began, with a plan to visit the parks on the original event's itinerary. But before getting to those parks, there's a couple flights to catch, some shameless coasters to ride, and a bit of celebrating to do. As you may recall from the first ever Stumble the year before, there were a few hiccups thanks to the winter storm that passed through Texas, which led to the closure of Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, and several people had their flights canceled due to the weather. But those of us who did make it were able to enjoy the first event that led to the creation of what is arguably the most fun coaster club out there in Buzz Bars. As plans were set for the 2022 Stumbles, it may be safe to say that many people were really looking forward to the last one of the year, as it would be a chance at a sort of do-over since we'd be following the itinerary of the original El Stumble, visiting both Six Flags Fiesta Texas and SeaWorld San Antonio. If the first Stumble was any indication of what to expect, this was going to be a great time. This is definitely a case of a quick turnaround after getting back home from England. But it's time to go ahead and join some Buzz Bars to Stumble. The only downside is this time, I gotta put my trust into United to get me to San Antonio. And last time I went with United to go to a Stumble, it didn't seem to go very well. So hopefully we're gonna have a better experience. Although I will say, after having been spoiled with the past few flights being much more spacious and not as many people, this plane is packed. Not gonna be a super comfortable experience, but as long as it gets there, that's all that matters. I was also really curious to see how my checked bag would handle this journey, as this was the first Stumble where I brought some local Washington beers and ciders to share with others, including those that came from Mac and Jack's, Schilling Cider, and Fremont Brewing. While United wasn't exactly my first choice, having flight credits to use because of the delays heading to the East Coast for Stumble 325 nearly covered the entirety of the fare to San Antonio, so that certainly helped. And while it was a tight fit as United always is, the first flight departed without any major delays, so things were already looking up. So there's about a 1 hour layover. I gotta switch terminals. It's gonna be tight. Luckily, the shuttle between stations ran fairly efficiently, and I was able to make it to the waiting area with enough time to grab a quick breakfast. Before long, we were ready to board for the short flight over to San Antonio. I think we're good. It survived. And it's still cold too. With a pair of successful flights, it was time to grab the rental car, which led to an interesting discovery about San Antonio's airport. Who knew you could walk to the Alamo from the airport? After grabbing my ride, it was a bit more than 2 hours to Corpus Christi for the first coaster stop at In the Game Funtrackers. One of my first times making a repeat visit to a place I only went to for a Shameless coaster credit, as they used to have a larger Orient Express when I made a fall coaster trip through the southern part of Texas back in 2017. When visiting the park now though, you'll instead find an SBF Visa spinner called Storm Chaser. Although there was a bit of a snag in my plan. Unfortunately, they said it's not open yet. That's because they're training some new employees, and they said about an hour. I'm going to take this opportunity to take a nap because I'm tired. And after my nap, I was able to gain that +1, then proceeded to take the nearly 2-hour drive to Victoria. Upon arrival, I made the stop to a small family entertainment center called Outlaw Pass. It offers a massive amount of charm, and I had a fun conversation with the park owner about visiting smaller parks like this in my travels, while he shared a bit about running the park. While I always enjoy these chats, the main reason I came here was for another Shameless coaster in Rio's roller coaster. A Wisdom Minor Mike powered coaster, which they ran both forwards and backwards. The original plan after Outlaw Pass was to head up to Kemah to join several other buzz bars for some rides on Boardwalk Bullet. But between the lack of sleep from the red-eye and already having ridden that coaster, I decided to make a return to San Antonio and head right to the party house to catch a quick nap before all the shenanigans began with everyone arriving.
Trick or treat!
I was so amazing to have a front seat view to that. Like, it kind of was like, are you sure you want to do this? Because Gary ain't going to be moving, buddy. And then, oh my God, kill a bird!
In preparation for the festivities of the weekend, there were kegs from False Idol brought down, and Sloan brought a meat-filled suitcase that would definitely be seized if he were traveling internationally.
Got the proper nights. And of course, Buc-ee's. Nothing but, oh my God, meat.
As he prepared that dry-aged ribeye for the grill, one of the most ridiculous things I've ever been a part of was documented. And if that wasn't enough, it was even captured in slow motion. After some time on the grill, that ribeye came out beautifully. The rest of the night's festivities centered around costumes, dancing, chilling on the back deck, and some beer pong. But this was only the beginning, as the following day would be the start of the Buzz Bar's theme park shenanigans, where we'd have a chance to make up for a missed park from the first Stumble, which came with an awesome surprise experience. Thank you for watching this Coasting with Culture video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button below to see future videos here on YouTube, like these ones which you may enjoy as well. Additional content can be found at coastingwithculture.com, and you can also follow Coasting with Culture on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for announcements, previews, and updates. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care and safe travels.